Alright, so in this particular video, what we're going to be doing is dividing polynomials by a monomial, and we're going to have a remainder. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at something. I'm going to highlight it. So first of all, you need to know what this function is. This is a of x. It's a polynomial function. Right, there's a of x. And we're going to be dividing it by b of x right here, this x squared. And so we're taking a of x and we are dividing it by b of x. Now what's that going to give us? It's going to give us what's called a quotient right here. And then we're going to be left over with a remainder. This right here, r of x is the remainder over the original divisor. Now the original divisor is this b of x. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to show you how you can do this very simply without a whole bunch of effort. Okay? And we're going to put the quotient, our answer to the quotient right here in this slot. That's going to be our q of x that we're going to find. And then we are also we're going to find our r of x, or a remainder, and we're going to, whatever our remainder is, we're going to call that r of x. We're going to put that right in here in this slot. All right, so here we go. Let's see if this makes sense to y'all. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write down what a of x is equal to. And a of x is equal to 4x to the power of 4 plus 2x squared minus an x plus a 1. And we're going to be dividing this by x squared. Okay? So we're going to divide this guy by x squared, and we're going to divide this guy by x squared. Okay? But you'll notice, look right here, I can't divide this by x squared because x squared does not go into a negative x, and x squared does not go into a 1. But 4x to the power of 4 divided by x squared is 4x squared. And 2x squared divided by x squared, those cancel out, and you're left with 2. So what's my quotient? 4x squared plus 2. Well, if you can't divide into it, what do we call that? We call it the remainder. So this right here, whatever we can't divide into, we just call the remainder. In this problem, they're calling it r of x. So right here for r of x, I'm going to put in negative x plus 1. Let's see if that works. 4x squared plus 2. And then we have, what was our remainder? Negative x plus 1. We got it. Now, how would I write my whole answer? Like if I wanted to write it in this form, my answer would be 4x squared plus 2, and then I would put a little plus sign right here, and then I would have a remainder of negative x plus 1 all over my original divisor, which was x squared. And I'll make that I'll just make it a green plus sign because it's positive. Here we go. So this would be my final answer if I wanted to write everything where you have the quotient and the remainder. Okay, so that would be your final. But they're not making you do that. Just basically they're separating it into the quotient and the remainder. All right, let's go on to the next one. Let's do one more. Okay, that should be enough, I think, for this particular assignment. It's not that complicated. Let's go ahead and highlight it. So here we go. We have a of x. It's this guy right here. There's a of x. I could totally have better highlighting skills, but oh well. There we go. And then here we have b of x right here. All right. And so we're going to take a of x and divide it by b of x, and whatever we have, that's going to be our quotient. Whatever we have left is going to be called the remainder. So just remember, we have a of x being divided by b of x. And there's the divisor right there. We're looking for the quotient, which is going to be this guy. And whatever we have left over, we're going to call the remainder. So whatever we can't divide into is going to be called the remainder. All right. So we have 6x to the power of 9 minus 5x to the power of 8 minus 12x cubed plus 60. And we are dividing it by x to the power of 6. We're going to divide this by x to the power of 6. But wait a second. We can't divide x to the power of 6 into this. That's our remainder. So here's our quotient. It's going to be 6x cubed minus x to the power of 8 divided by x to the power of 6 is just going to be x squared. So that's our quotient. I'm going to type in right there. And it looks like our remainder is whatever we have like left over. So our remainder is going to be negative 12x cubed plus 60. All right, so we got our quotient, we have our remainder, and that's it. So our quotient was 6x to the power of 3. And then it was minus 5x squared. And then we have a remainder, all right, we have a remainder of negative 12x cubed plus 60. Negative 12x, scroll down there. There we go. X cubed plus 60. And that's it. All right, so that's what you're doing. Now we're going to move on to a little bit more difficult one. This is called divide polynomials with remainders. So this is going to be a little bit tougher one. So if you're going to need to do, we're going to have to do some long division on these guys. All right, so here we go. Could you please write this bad mamma jamma down? Okay, let's go ahead and take care of that. This is going to be one long problem. All right, so in this particular one, we're dividing polynomials with remainders. Now, this one's going to take a lot more effort than the previous one. I'm just letting you know. So here we go. Here's a of x. So I need you guys to write down a of x in all of its ridiculously long beauty. And then I need you guys to write down b of x right there. I need you guys to write down b of x. And what we're doing is we're taking a of x and we're dividing it by b of x, which is going to give us a quotient. But we're going to be left over with a remainder. Okay? And understand this b of x is our divisor. So this one's going to take a little bit of time. So here we go. I'm just going to do it right down here. Hopefully you can see it. I'm going to write down 2x to the power of 4 plus 7x cubed plus 2x squared plus 5x minus 4. And I'm going to do this very carefully and nice and neat as possible, so I'm making my work as pretty as I can. That's being divided by x squared plus 3x minus 1. I didn't do a very good job. I'll get it a little bit closer to the division bar. Here we go. Minus 1 plus 3x, and then I have what? An x squared. So please, we're going to be doing long division right here. So if you guys could please write that down nice and neat, that would be great. All right, here we go. So let's think about this. We have to figure out like what number goes right here to make this a 2x to the power of 4. All right, that's what we got to do. So what number times x squared, that's supposed to be an x squared, not a very good x squared, is 2x to the power of 4. Well, that's going to be 2x squared. Now, what makes this difficult is not only do I have to multiply it to the first one, I got to multiply it to the second term, and I got to multiply it to the third term. Okay? So 2x squared times x squared is 2x to the power of 4. 2x squared times 3x is 6x cubed. 2x squared times negative 1 is negative 2x squared. But this is where students will mess up. They will forget that they're supposed to do what with this whole thing? They're supposed to do what? Take it away. All right, guys, here we go. Let's do some mental math here. What is 2x to the power of 4 minus 2x to the power of 4? That Zeros out. What's 7x cubed minus 6x cubed? That just leaves me with 1x cubed. 2x squared minus a negative 2x squared. What's going to happen with those negatives? They're going to turn to a positive, so that's going to actually become what? 4x squared. And then bring down, hey, bring down the 5x and bring down the what? Minus 4. So all I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to erase that. So since we don't need it, I'm just going to erase it. Hopefully you know that's a 0 right there. Now we're actually, honestly, we only have one more step, and we're going to be done with this problem. Here's the good news. What does that say? That's an x squared. What does that say? X cubed. Well, there's only one number that I can multiply that by, and I'll use green this time, okay? What has to go in the green box in order to make this x cubed? X squared times what is x cubed? That's it. We just found our quotient. All right? We just found our quotient. Well, we might have to do one more step, but that's okay. It looks like we're going to have to do one more step. Bummer. Okay, but that's okay. So x times x squared is x cubed. What's x times 3x? Yeah, so we're going to put a 3x squared. And what's x times negative 1? Negative x. Very good. Now, what do students need to remember to do? Put a parentheses around it and do what? Subtract. So now let's do some mental math. X cubed minus x cubed is 0. What is 4x squared minus 3x squared? That's just going to be x squared. But what's 5x minus a negative x? A negative times a negative is a positive. So what's that going to give us? It's going to get us a total of 6x minus a 4. Like what? Wait. What about that? Just bring it down because you haven't done anything with it. Okay? And we're almost done. We literally got one more thing. You're like, I thought you said we had one more thing. Yeah, I didn't. I forgot there was one extra part because literally we can. What number can I multiply by x squared to get to an x squared? 1, right? So I know I got to put a what? Put a 1 right there in that box. 1 times x squared is x squared. 1 times 3x is 3x. 1 times a negative 1 is a negative 1. But what do I got to do once again? Subtract. So does everybody notice every single time I put a minus and I put a parentheses? I put a minus, I put a parentheses. I put a minus and a parentheses. Why do I do that? To make sure that I subtract each of those numbers inside of the parentheses. X squared minus x squared, 0. 6x minus 3x is 3x. Negative 4 minus a negative 1, that turns it to a positive 1, so that makes it minus 3. Everybody, this is my remainder. That part right there is the remainder. What am I going to type in as my quotient? I'm going to type this big old sucker right here as my quotient. So you guys ready? So put. That's a really ugly looking q. Hold on, let me do a better job here. What am I going to put for q of x for my quotient? My quotient is what? 2x squared plus x plus 1. But what am I going to put for my r of x? 3x minus 3. So this is what I'm going to type into the Khan Academy for this particular problem. I think I did a pretty good job of doing it step by step. Every single time, just remember, put a minus and do a what? Do a parentheses for each one. So we're going to go and type it in to see if we got it right. 2x squared. So we got 2x squared, and what was the next one? Plus x plus 1. Okay, and what did we get as the remainder? 3x minus 3. Well, we did a lot of work there, so I'm hoping that with all that work, did anybody see me do a silly mistake? Because I was working through it. You guys usually do a pretty good job if I make a silly mistake. Holy cow, that was awesome. All right. So can you guys understand that's going to take a little bit more time? So one of them was easy. So it says see a step-by-step solution. What do you guys notice about what I did and what they did? Do you notice any differences whatsoever between all of this and all of this? It's the exact same thing. Except I just try to do it in different colors for each row. Okay? That's all I tried to do. Okay? So I realize that's going to take a little bit more time and energy, but just make sure that you do what? I'll help you my best I can with long division. It's the same process over and over again. Okay?